Hey, what's up, guys? Music Box Pete here. Welcome to the first entry on the YouTube channel. Actually, I should say the relaunch YouTube channel. So you'll be seeing posts from me every now and then. Of course, you know, I mentioned on the podcast earlier this week that I'll be starting off a new feature called Vinyl Vids, which I'm happy to launch officially today. So a little special edition, of course, you know, with everybody getting their year-end charts already right here. I'll give you a little vinyl feature of sorts of my top 5 albums of the year. So, of course, the full list will be posted up on the site at musicboxpete.com next week, and you probably got a little sneak peek on a picture I posted yesterday on my Instagram account and across all my social media platforms. So, thought this would be kind of a cool way to sort of, you know, integrate, you know, my love for vinyl and bring it over to the video sides, because it's something I've always been itching to do. I've seen so many other YouTube stars do it as well, just feature all their vinyls and just talk about it, and just something that I really want to get into. So let's start off right here. First vinyl I have for you right here is from As It Is, called Okay. You can see it right here. This is the sophomore album from the guys. Of course, you know, my love for these guys goes back at least 4 years or so, going back to when they were first featured in the Towering Over London Bandcamp compilation, actually. So just literally just in love from the start. My friend Dave Snocken, who used to work for I Am Mighty Records, he hooked me onto the guys, and the whole British pop punk scene. I just fell in love with it instantaneously. But their sophomore album, of course, their debut album was Never Happy Ever After. That came out in 2015, and I was just literally beyond. It was just absolutely unbelievable. But this album, Okay, their follow-up that came out back in January, I believe, is just literally. It'll be tough for me to say it's better than their debut, but it hits in a more different trajectory than the other one did. It's a more darker album. It hits a more darker subject matter, because of course it deals with a lot of, like, you know, themes involving depression and, you know, suicide, everything that's really a lot of problems that are plaguing today's youth. I think it's one of those albums that just really hits you like a ton of bricks the moment you hit it. It has sort of those little sunny breaks of optimism in between, but just the melodic outbursts are absolutely unbelievable. Of course, with Pretty Little Distance, the title track, Hey Rachel, Patchwork Love, literally all of side A. If you get this on vinyl, all of side A you will not skip over one bit. The same for side B, has The Coast Is Where Home Is. The whole album itself is just absolutely phenomenal. And the cover art is pretty sharp as well also. Just absolutely love how they sort of evoke themselves. I've seen them at least 3 or 4 times in concert, and just literally they get better with every single album they put out. It just literally is beyond anything I could ever imagine. So, As It Is on the list. Next up is another terrific pop punk band based out of Philadelphia called Grayscale, and their debut full-length called Adornment. Here it is right here. And these guys, I got the chance to see at Brighton Music Hall earlier in the year. Just absolutely phenomenal guys. And they really have a sense of who they are as musicians. It's just something that's really, it's really hard to describe all the kinship and the camaraderie that's upon them. But just literally when you listen to them, it just really makes you appreciate them that much more. And I got the chance to interview the guys on the site about, I think it was 2 years ago, from their first EP, What We're Missing, which is absolutely phenomenal. Definitely go out and check that out if you haven't already. But just literally, when you listen to these guys, you will fall in love immediately upon first listen. First on side A, it's Let It Rain. And this song is actually featured as sort of the commercial, well, not really as leading into commercial, for the Sunday Night Football game on NBC against the Pats and Falcons. And when that song was featured right before we went to commercial break, literally, like, Twitter exploded. Meant that song come. I'm like, oh my god, did they just play Grayscale? I'm like, that is phenomenal. And Come Undone is another terrific song on the album. Of course, it features Patty Walters of As It Is, who we just mentioned. Forever Yours is another terrific song on the album. And side B, it has sort of those high energy melodic songs, and then little breaks with the low key acoustic numbers. It just really is a perfect balance in between the two worlds. It really is something that's just, it is really beyond beautiful in words too. And just the whole album, immaculately produced. They're on Fearless Records. These guys really know what they're doing. They just really have a sense of who they are as musicians and who they want to be. So they're on the list. Next up, actually, I got 2 vinyls from the same artist, actually, on my year-end list. First is from Hippo Campus. And it's actually their debut full-length called Landmark. You can see it right here. Of course, Hippo Camp has been featured numerous times before on the site, and they released a couple EPs beforehand, but this is their first full-length debut album, which is It took a lot. It took a while for me to get into this, actually, but really, the more I listened to it, the more I was like, well, they don't need to try like everything else that was on their EPs before. They don't have to go into like like Suicide Saturday, make that high energy melodic blast. But in this album, they're able to sort of they do like little intertwining like interludes in between, so it's not something that's like a straightforward melodic banger. It really is just low key indie record that has sort of subtle, underground melodies to it that really just you really have to listen multiple times in order to appreciate it. Of course, Way It Goes is a great song off of it. Simple Season, Western Kids. There's little golden nuggets here and there, sort of say, but just the whole album is really takes time to sort of appreciate it. It's sort of like a fine bottle of wine, if you want to draw the analogy there. Literally, the guys are phenomenal. When I saw them at Royale last fall, actually, I was just literally blown away. They just get better and better each and every time I check them out, and just they really have a sense of who they are as musicians, and really they're just getting better and better, and they're really carving a name out for themselves right away. And the next one from Hippocampus right here is actually their brand new EP, Warm Glow, that actually just came out a few weeks ago. Here it is right here. And I talked a little bit about this and actually featured one of the songs in my podcast, Baseball, which is probably one of the catchiest numbers, sort of on par with Suicide Saturday, but just literally the whole EP itself is just absolutely phenomenal. There's only 3 songs on it, but literally you're going to get a lot of mileage out of these 3. Traveler and the title track, Warm Glow, it's just... They just literally cannot do no wrong with every song they put out. It really is just beyond awesome, and there's nothing these guys can't do. Just literally, definitely go and check them out in concert. Just highly recommended. And they're just one of those bands that they're all like between the ages of 18 and 22. So literally, when you check them out in concert, you'll be surprised at how young they are. Like, are they like in high school or something? But literally, they are just beyond awesome guys, and you'll really enjoy it for sure. And actually, one more vinyl I want to squeeze in real quick is actually the self-titled album from Harry Styles, which I was just absolutely blown away from. Here it is right here. I can't even begin to tell you how obsessed I am with this album. And, I'm totally unashamed to admit it, that the Harry Styles album was probably my favorite album of the year. Just literally, when I listened to it, I never thought I would enjoy a debut solo album from a former boy band member of One Direction that much this year. I was just literally blown away. Because when I heard the first single off the record, Sign of the Times, I was like, it took me a little off guard because it wasn't what I was expecting. And I don't really admit to people that I like, Harry Styles and the other guys from One Direction, because their songs are actually pretty good, and the music they're putting out is pretty awesome. But this it was beyond awesome. It was almost like sort of like a 70s like singer-songwriter classic rock record. It just Meet Me in the Hallway, absolutely phenomenal song. It sets things in motion right away. And it's recommend that you listen to some vinyl, sort of get the full brunt of it. It's even more beautiful, more poetic when you have it on vinyl, where you have it like a cocktail to enjoy along with as well. You know what I'm saying? Carolina is probably my favorite song off the album. It just really has that sort of addictive pop melody, just crunching at you around every turn. It just literally is absolutely awesome. Beyond Two Ghosts is a low-key number. I like the way that it's sort of designed too, the way that Harry sort of designed it, sort of have a high-energy melodic songs and sort of like going down the low-key subtle melodies. So you sort of have a little variation between high and low, and sort of have that high degree of musical diversity, which really suits it well and really creates that perfect harmonic balance. Sweet Creature, another awesome song on the album. Literally, there's no song on this album on either side that you could be skipping over. It really is that awesome. When you go over to side 2, Only Angel, that is another awesome one. I just absolutely enjoyed it. It was literally just going through the whole album as a whole. I'm like, I can't believe how awesome this is and how great Harry sounds. Kiwi is another great one. Woman, just literally everything in the album is just awesome beyond comparison. And just literally looking back all the music from the year, and just with the Harry Styles album, just really makes me appreciate the breadth of musical diversity that's really out there too, especially when it's on vinyl. And I think with vinyls, it really makes you appreciate music that much more. And just with my vinyl collection, that's literally grown at the masses and just is absolutely getting out of control. I think the Harry Styles album is what really got me to appreciate music and listen to that emotional depth. It really is beyond awesome. Definitely go out and get it if you haven't already. If you want to spend a Christmas gift on yourself, it's definitely recommended that you get that one. So I'll be doing these vids at least once a week, maybe on Wednesdays. I haven't really figured out the exact date yet, but this is something I'm going to have a lot of fun doing. I'll be showcasing other vinyls from my collection, other previous vinyls, other vinyls that I've inherited too as well. Just literally, and all sorts of little neat little tidbits along the way too. So sort of, maybe making some treks out to the vinyl store. Maybe I could squeeze that in. Just sort of have little different themes for each episode I'll be doing. So it really is something I have a lot of fun with, and it's just something that I'm just going to totally just enjoy, just going to absolutely devour. So thanks for tuning in for this edition. So again, at least once a week, I'll keep you updated on all the social media accounts and I'll be posting, and hope you enjoy, guys. See ya.